What if I told you, before light existed, before oceans, mountains, and life, the world was covered in darkness, a silent emptiness, a deep void, where nothing looked alive. But then, something powerful happened. In the middle of chaos, God's Spirit began to move, and that single moment changed everything forever. Today, we are going to explore one of the most mysterious and powerful verses in the entire Bible, the second verse of Genesis. This verse is short, but it contains deep meaning about darkness, hope, creation, and new beginnings. Genesis chapter 1, verse 2 says, "Now the earth was formless and empty. Darkness was over the surface of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters." At first glance, this verse may sound simple, but when we look deeper, it reveals a powerful message about life itself. Let's break this verse into smaller parts. The earth was formless and empty. Imagine a world with no cities, no people, no animals, no sky filled with birds. Nothing had shape, nothing had order. The Bible describes the earth as formless and empty. This means creation had not yet been organized. Everything existed in an unfinished state. It was a world waiting for purpose. And honestly, many people feel this way in life sometimes. There are moments when life feels confusing, moments when dreams seem unclear, moments when everything feels empty inside. This verse reminds us that even when things look incomplete, God is still working. An unfinished beginning does not mean the story is over. Sometimes, great things start in chaos. Darkness was over the surface of the deep. The verse continues with a powerful image, darkness covering the deep waters. Darkness in the Bible often represents fear, uncertainty, and the unknown. Think about it. Most people are afraid of darkness because they cannot see what lies ahead. And in life, we also experience seasons of darkness. Maybe someone feels lost. Maybe they are struggling with failure. Maybe they feel alone or afraid of the future. This verse speaks directly to those moments, because even in complete darkness, God was present. The darkness did not stop creation. It was only the beginning before light appeared. That is an important lesson. Just because life feels dark today does not mean light will never come. Sometimes the greatest miracles begin in the darkest moments. The Spirit of God was hovering over the waters. This is the heart of the verse. While darkness covered the earth, the Spirit of God was moving. The word hovering creates the image of protection, care, and preparation. It is like a bird protecting its nest before new life begins. God was not absent in the chaos. He was actively present. Even before light was created, God was already there. This gives hope to millions of people around the world, because it means God does not only appear after life becomes perfect. He is there during the confusion, during the fear, during the waiting. Many people think God only works in success, but Genesis 1:2 shows that God also works in brokenness and emptiness. And maybe that's exactly what someone watching this video needs to hear today. This verse teaches us something incredible. Chaos is not the end. In fact, creation often begins there. Before God created beauty, there was emptiness. Before light, there was darkness. Before order, there was confusion. And the same pattern can happen in human life. A difficult season does not mean your future is destroyed. Sometimes life feels messy before something amazing is born. A person may fail many times before success. A dream may seem impossible before it becomes reality. A broken heart may heal stronger than before. Genesis 1:2 reminds us to never lose hope in dark seasons, because God can create beauty even from chaos. Why this verse still matters today? Even though this verse was written thousands of years ago, its message still connects with modern life. Today, many people struggle with stress, fear, anxiety, and uncertainty about the future. Some feel emotionally empty, some feel spiritually lost. But Genesis 1:2 gives a timeless reminder. Darkness is not permanent. The story of creation did not end in darkness. Light was coming next. And sometimes when life feels silent, God may still be preparing something greater behind the scenes. That message inspires millions of believers around the world. Spiritual meaning of water in this verse. Water in the Bible often symbolizes mystery, depth, and life. In Genesis 1:2, the deep waters represent an untamed world waiting for God's command. And above those waters, God's Spirit was moving with power. This gives complete authority. Even when the world looked chaotic, nothing was beyond God's control. That is why this verse is so powerful. It reminds believers that no situation is too broken for God to transform. Genesis 1:2 is more than a description of the beginning of the world. It is a message of hope, a reminder that darkness does not last forever, a reminder that emptiness can become purpose, and a reminder that even in moments when life feels confusing, God may still be moving quietly in the background. So if you are going through a difficult season right now, remember this verse. Before God said, "Let there be light," there was darkness. But the darkness did not win. Light was already on the way. If this video inspired you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this message with someone who needs hope today. And comment below, what does Genesis 1:2 mean to you? because sometimes one Bible verse can change the way we see life forever.